What's going on, guys? Thanks for coming back to another video. Today's a little bit different. It's Friday, it's the end of the day. I'm just starting to clean up the shop from a crazy week. I got a ton of stuff done. A couple chef knives that are, it's the coolest knife that I've finished to date, honestly. Well, in my eyes, it just took a lot of, man, I got a lot of work into it. I'm gonna be posting it over on my Instagram probably in about a week from now. So make sure if you don't follow me over on Instagram, go check that out. But right now, I am starting to organize the shop, and I wanted to do a quick shop tour, okay? And I've got a couple of these. I just got a big box of new abrasives from Red Label Abrasives. And these surface conditioned belts, you kind of have to stretch them out a little bit because they're all wonky. So I'm doing that right now. And that's one thing, I need to have some better belt storage, because you can see I put all my new belts here. And like, for example, I've got my 120s, my 80s, my 60s. These are 24s, 36s, 400s. I've got them. It's not very organized, and I need to work on that, okay? I'll admit it. But if you guys went way back in my videos, I talked a little bit about what I did before this whole knife making thing started. And I own a business, and I had a lot of overhead in that business. And my whole goal with this is to try to keep the overhead down, keep everything simple. And that's why I do this out of my garage. I basically made it to where my boat has to live outside so I can have this shop inside my 2-car garage at home. So overhead's low, but it's hard to keep everything organized in a really tight, small space. But one thing I need to do is maybe extend this belt storage, because I'll show you in a little bit. Well, you can see it right over here. That's belt storage there too, and you can see it's a disaster. There's like 100 belts on there. But anyway, so the first part of the shop, I'm gonna do this all with no edits or anything. I'm just doing it real quick at the end on a Friday to show you guys really quick. You can see this is kind of my sharpening. This is my sharpening wheel. If you guys haven't seen the videos, go check those out. That's how I do all my sharpening on the paper wheel system, okay? There's a polishing side and a cutting side. I put in that secondary bevel, polish it. It's the fastest, best way to get an edge. This is a crappy little, whatever you call these little ovens, and I do all my Kydex in that, okay? So basically I use that to heat up all my Kydex, and then I use this press for it. And super simple, okay? Like I said, I try to keep everything as simple as possible. That way there's less problems. Simple equals less problems. That's at least my motto. So as you go down the line here, and I'll move this camera in a minute to show you guys. So I've got 2 drill presses, okay? And the only reason I have 2 is because this one broke. And basically the return spring broke in it. You can see these aren't fancy drill presses at all, they're junky. And I fixed it, but it's not exactly right. You can see the return isn't great on it. This one's right on the money. And so that one broke, and while I was waiting, because I had to order that new spring for it, I went and bought the big dog right here, okay? And so now I fixed this one, and I use this one just for all my countersinking, to where when I drill all my holes in my handles, I always go over and countersink them just a little bit to get rid of that burr. So it's a little excessive. Maybe you definitely don't need that, but since I had it, I take full advantage and use it. And it's really nice to have 2 so you're not constantly switching out bits, This is my one and only buffer that I use. And there's a lot of people that have multiple buffers. And honestly, about the only thing I use that for is for finishing handles. A lot of times, like stabilized wood handles, I'll sand them up to maybe 2000 grit and do a light buff, and that's what I use. And because you're not really supposed to buff maybe wood with the same wheel as you're gonna buff steel with, and I don't really do much buffing of steel. Pretty much everything's finished by hand, and I don't do a lot of that kind of buffing. And I know some people do, but as of right now, that one buffer kind of gets the job done. So let me move you guys on down here a little ways. Over here actually so this looks like a mess in the video, and it is a mess. Like I said, I've got to clean up the shop here, but I've got this wet tile saw, and I've got a bunch of stuff on top of it right now. And I use that for cutting some materials down, like the mammoth molar, some G10. I even use it for some wood. It cuts it really good, and with that wet saw, it just works really good. This is where some of my tooling is. This is another thing that I need to totally update and adjust. I've got my nice new surface grinder attachment. It was $1,000 almost just sitting here. I need to build something out for all that stuff. I've got a work rest. This is really cool. Let me show you guys this really quick. I haven't shown this yet. This is the new OBM fuller grinder attachment. And you can see it's got small wheels, and I've got a couple other sizes. This is the smallest one. And I'm actually designing a knife right now off of this tool. And I haven't got to it yet. I'm too busy. Like I said, I've got too much stuff going on right now, but I'm really jacked to try that out. It's just super nice tool. And I just have them I was almost embarrassed to make this video because it looks unorganized, and it kind of is, but in my own mind, I know where everything is, and it's fine, you know? So I've got just one of these that I never use for hollow grinds. I've got my small wheel attachment and my OBM surface grinder attachment, which is incredible. I just did a video on that. I think it's so nice. And this over here, you guys can kind of see is my workbench, and oh my gosh, it just looks horrible. But that's just, like I said, I wanted to show you guys kind of how this looks after a week of craziness in the shop. And this is how it looks. That's why I have to go through and get everything organized. But on this, I do all my heat treating right here, okay? I've got this plate quench vise. You can see I've made videos about this as well. You know, I've got the even heat. This is the LB 22.5 even heat, and that's a 240 volt one. I cannot recommend this thing enough. It's incredible. I got the tap controller for it, and it just works so good. It makes heat treating, gosh, I used to dread heat treating, and now I look forward to heat treat day. So this thing's been really good. And I just keep my, the handle's kind of a little funny on it. I need to adjust it a little bit. But I keep my oil right here. My small quench tank oil is right there. This is kind of where, if you guys order a knife, I always come out here, and this is my order book. I do some designing on this piece here. Man, it's really embarrassingly messy right now. But whatever, let's move on, okay? Trying to make this short and sweet. So down below over there, I didn't show, I've got some Kydex, which I actually need to order more. I've only got 2 full sheets left. Let me take this off here and show you guys something really cool. So down below, those are all either mess up blades or templates right over here. I've got a bunch of different drill bits here that I don't ever use because I buy these packs now of drill bits, and the sizes I use, like those are 5/16 and cobalt ones. These are really good drill bits. I get these on eBay actually, and they're the cheapest cobalt ones that work. So I basically just buy packs of the sizes I use, as opposed to buying these kits and then you don't use any of the sizes. You can see, look at that. There's a big block of micarta, and this is also a big block of micarta. See how big that thing is? Holy cow. And I've machined down one of these into scales already. And if you guys know, I posted them for sale a couple times, but I've still got that whole giant block down there to machine into scales, which is awesome. So here's my portaband setup. This is the Harbor Freight portaband, okay? Bunch of people talk bad about this thing, but I've used it now for like 4 or 5 years. Still going strong, works awesome, love it. I built this homemade stand for it, and it's a little bit wonky, but it actually works really well. It just switches on below there, turn it on, turn it off, and that's how I cut out all the blanks, shape handles. I use that all the time. So there's kind of that little section right there. And then over here is, oh weird, it's a huge mess. This is all for a custom order actually. These scales here, this jade, that's some more Dayglow G10. that's going on some Tracker H's. These are already heat treated and ready to grind. There's my bevel jig, and these are all like billet cutoffs, like that. There's a low layer Damascus billet. That's all of this. That's what all these little pieces are. And then all my bigger pieces are over there. There's some camp knife blanks, karambits, fillet knives, all kinds of stuff down there. There's some extra Parks 50 quench oil. And you can see I kind of try to do the best I can with limited space here. So, all right, guys, here we are over in the grinding area. And I should probably back you off a little bit. So here's kind of where the magic happens right here. This is a Beaumont TX grinder. I've talked about it in the past lots of times. It goes vertical, horizontal. And I think I've had this now for about a year and a half, maybe a year and a couple months. And I love it. I have nothing bad to say about it whatsoever. Except for they're just really expensive, but I think you get what you pay for. It's got the BFD, everything about it's really, really awesome. Over here, you can see more belts, okay? Right there. And these belts right here, see if you can kind of see where I'm at. So I kind of keep my still really good used ones over here. These are, these are used and not very good, but they still work. And basically everything else really needs to be thrown away. I'm not joking. It's just, I don't know. There's something about throwing away all these $10 a piece belts. It's just hard, okay? So, like I said, I'd like to maybe make a bigger rack that goes maybe further down or something to house all my belts in one spot and kind of to where I can keep them organized a little bit better. What happens for me is right now I currently have a ton of orders, okay? And for me to stop doing orders and take even an hour or whatever to organize stuff, my brain won't let me do it. I don't know why, but that's why normally at the end of the day on Friday, I try to take at least an hour and come in and just organize and get things back into at least so it's not such a disaster like it is right now. As you can see, I've been shaping a ton of my Carta. Look at this. This is all just my Carta dust. Sorry. And it's just a disaster. So this is my little work area right here. And this is basically where I do like all my hand sanding right here. You've seen before in the past. All my handle glue ups are right here. You can obviously see it's covered in glue. My little Dremel work that I do on handles and stuff right here. And this is kind of my dirty work zone. Now, if you come over here, this is kind of the last little spot of the shop. You can see over here, right here, that's my tumbler. And I use that for my stonewash finish on all of my smaller blades, the Scouts, Tracker T's, Tracker H's. Those all get tumbled in that little tumbler. For the bigger blades, I have a homemade tumbler I use over there that is, it's not very good, but it gets the job done. And so right here, it's just one of these little tool carts. And I use this for, let's see if you guys can see in it. This is all random handle material that some of these are for custom orders right now. Some of them are extras. Some of them are ones that I buy. So I have some on hand. Like I always try to have ironwood and a lot of the basic handle materials kind of in stock. And this is also, I've got a ton of Tech Lock clips in here. All my Tech Locks go in here. And I actually need another one of these for more storage and to keep Tech Locks, keep more handle material. Right here, I can pull this out and show you guys. This is where all my pins are at. I keep all the different pins. Let's see if I can show you without tipping it out. So all my lanyard tubes, all the pins. There's some really nice stainless mosaic ones. You're not gonna be able to see them, but super nice. Hey, you know, as far as the shop goes, this is probably the most organized thing right here. I've got my pins in one spot, and I bought a nice little container to keep them in. So you guys should be proud of me for that right there. Other than that, this is some hardware to do some removable handle scales that I don't ever do. And then this drawer that you guys can probably see a little bit is where I keep a lot of like knives that are work in progress that I don't want left out. Like that, say for example, these ones I've already got them surface ground and like ready for bevels. This is already surface ground, it's oiled, and I don't want this left out getting scratched, getting dropped, anything like that. So I kind of try to have my one little clean area that nothing can get messed up in. So I think that just about covers the knife shop. You guys are probably quite underwhelmed with kind of what I have here. And for me, it works. That's kind of how I look at it. And I don't do a ton of blacksmithing anymore, a ton of forging. I have a forge that I have put away because I very rarely use it now that I have the heat treat oven. And until I have a bigger shop, which I don't know when that'll happen, is probably when I'll do maybe some more forging, maybe build some of my own Damascus, that kind of stuff. Until then, I just kind of make it work here in this shop. And like I said in the beginning of this video, low overhead was very important to me because I'm sure as many of you guys know that watch these videos, you probably make knives and you realize how there really isn't a ton of money in it, okay? It's not like I'm doing this to get rich. I think the only way you can do this and be successful is just be really smart about how you do every step of it. And that's why everything you see in the shop, I obviously have some really good tools that are very important. Grinder, heat treat oven, super important. I have some not so great tools that are not as important and key. And as far as investing into certain things, it's not as important as others, I guess. So hopefully you guys maybe learned something from checking out my shop. Like I said, I think in the next couple weeks, I need to take a day, clean everything up really good and organize my tooling, organize my belts, just get a little bit better flow coming into fall and the Christmas orders and everything. It's going to get crazy. So just being organized, it does help a little bit, even though you can see my shop is a little bit chaos, but it's like my workflow. I've just gotten really used to it in here. And I actually really enjoy coming out here every morning, kicking the music on, turning on Knife Talk podcast, and just getting to work. You know what I mean? So that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you have an awesome weekend. If you're watching this, I'm going to try to post this later today, maybe tonight. And I think that's it. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know. I think I covered everything. I do have a granite surface plate over here that I didn't show you that I use a lot too. All my sandpaper, it's just a disaster over there. And yeah. So like always, guys, thanks for checking out the videos. I've been trying to put one up every week. And if you have any ideas for future videos, a lot of people ask for a shop tour. I don't know why. I feel like you guys have seen every aspect of my shop in my videos, but that kind of shows you the gist of what I'm working with here. And yeah, I hope you guys like it. So if you have any ideas for future videos, drop them in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see. I really like answering super specific questions on these videos that maybe aren't covered in other videos that are on YouTube. So that being said, have a good one, guys, and thanks for watching.